Salamat po, sir. Kasi for the past months po, dinadamdam po talaga namin. Yung stress po na binigay sa amin, hindi talaga makatao. Sipin niyo, sir, Christmas party namin. Sinabihan kami ng chairman namin na, o kayo, mag-practice na kayo, minom na ng banog. Kasi mamaya wala na kayo, kasi bukas makalaw, wala na kayong trabaho. Parang ganun, sir. Parang walang ano sir eh. Napaka-inhumane kasi. Kaya ang sakit-sakit sa amin, sir.
Christmas party yun.
Yes, sir.
Binigyan kayo ng malita.
Buti nga, sir, wala ako dun eh. Di ko mismo na-experience eh. Pero imagine niyo, sir, di ba? Andun kayo para
So, sino nakarinig noon?
Marami, sir. Sinabi niya po yun sa mic, sir eh. Ganun po siya ka-inhumane, sir. Ganun po sorry for the term, sir, pero kawalang hiya po yung chairman na. Sorry for the term po talaga. Talaga pong ganun. Sobrang...
Ito siya sabi talagang walang hiya.
Yes, sir. Pasensya na po kung yun po yung term, pero hindi ko po talaga kasi siya ma-describe bukod sa... Salamat po, sir. Kasi for the past months po, dinadamdam po talaga namin. Yung stress po na binigay sa amin, hindi talaga makatao. Sipin niyo, sir, kayo, mag-practice na kayo, minom na ng banog. Kasi mamaya wala na kayo, kasi bukas makalaw, wala na kayong trabaho. Parang ganun, sir. Parang walang sir eh. Napaka-inhumane kasi. Kaya ang sakit-sakit sa amin, sir.
Christmas party yun.
Yes, sir.
Binigyan kayo ng malita.
Ganun. Buti nga, sir, wala ako dun eh. Di ko mismo na-experience eh. Pero imagine niyo, sir, di ba? Andun kayo para
So, sino nakarinig?
Ganun po siya ka-inhumane, sir. Ganun po sorry for the term, sir, pero kawalang hiya yung chairman namin. Sorry for the term po talaga. Talaga pong ganun. So,
Kung totoo siya sabi mo talagang walang hiya.
yes, sir. Pasensya na po kung yun po yung term, pero hindi ko po talaga kasi siya bukod sa yun eh. Kasi talagang hindi niya po pinipigil yung sarili niya. Tapos,
Kung sa salitang kalye, tarantado yun. Kalye, hindi naman tayo sa kalye. So, walang hiya lang, okay na.
Ako, I feel po na ngayon po na binigyan niyo po kami ng panahon ng atensyon, ng aruga, pag-asa, sir. Marami po sa mga empleyado ngayon ng malamang umiiyak o nabubunyugi po. Kasi, sir, grabe po yung pinagdaanan namin, sir. Ito po nakarambuan po. Ang dami po sa amin na gusto na magpakamatay. Gusto nang umalis ng PAGCOR. May mga ganun, sir eh. May mga medical, wag po kayo mga sir, yung mga medical certificate po nila, sir, ipe-present po namin sa committee na to para po malaman ninyo gaano po agrave yung ginawa nila sa amin. Ako, sir, yung stress ko po, sir, dahil po sa ginawa nila sa akin, dinudugo po ako. Ganun po kalala. Tumatay po ako ng dugo. Kasi po, di po talaga makatarungan yung ginawa nila. Yun lang po.
Mr. Sabosa, nakita mo, kung ikaw po nasa sitwasyon nila, for so many years, naging loyal ka sa PAGCOR, ginawa mo yung narapat na gawin, trabaho mo, may family ka, umaasa sa iyo, and then all of a sudden, mababalitaan mo lang, masisibak ka na. How would you feel?
Mr. Chair, kung gano'n ang situation, I would feel the same.
Exactly. Di ba? Yan kasi, napapadalos-dalos kayo. He provide us with those documents.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And magkano lahat nabentahan ba o plano pa lang ibibenta?
Hindi mo binibenta. Walang
Okay,
bentahan.
anyway, plano pa lang. And we need to see the MOA. Meron pa lang MOA, talaga ibibenta na yan. Nagkaroon ng MOA .
Hindi ho benta, lisensya ho ang binigay sa kanila.
Kaya nga, ang susunod na yan, mabibenta na. Binigyan niya ng lisensya . Why would you give a license to someone na wala kayong intensyon na bibigyan sila ng ng operations?
Wala ho kaming ibibenta. Kanila ho yung property.
Kaya nga, parang gano'n na, binenta nyo sa kanila yung sila na mag-ooperate. Sila na mag-take over sa inyo pag-ooperate. Kung magkano yung revenue na kinikita ng PAGCOR on that particular site, na casino na yan, sila na mapupunta sa kanila. Pareho lang yun. Pinaikot mo na ako . And kayo dyan sa PAGCOR, alam mo, nag-init ang ulo ko sa inyo . Pasensya, not you personally, hindi naman kayo members ng board. Ito members ng board. Nagagawa silang board resolution na hindi iniisip yung kapakanan ng mga tao. Dapat, bago kayo yung mga taga-board, members ng board, iniisip yung kapakanan ng mga empleyado. If you don't comply with that, ipapakontempt namin kayo, promise. In a blink of an eye, I won't have second thoughts na pakulong kayo dyan sa baba. Kung kinakailan 1 linggo, 1 buwan, I don't care. Alang-alang dun sa manapin natin mga manggagawa. Kahit paabuti kayo na 1 taon dyan sa baba, I don't care. Dami ko nang pinakulong dyan, mga polis, mga kernel, kayo pa. Kahit pa ABP kayo, kahit pa BP Pinas, I don't care. Kahit pa anong pwesto sa gobyerno. Pag nang-api kayo ng pobreng kababayan natin, tabla-tabla tayo, okay? Francis Tolentino an act fixing the host city share on the earnings of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, PAGCOR. We're honored to be joined today by our colleagues from the House of Representatives and officials from the various local government units. And would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Tolentino, here today, and our colleagues from the House of Representatives, Honorable Edwin Olivares, District Representative of Parañaque City, District 1, and Honorable Representative Gus S. Tambunting, District Representative, Parañaque City, District 2. And any of our colleagues would like to a statement, Senator Tolentino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am here to reiterate the rationale of the House Bill 2061, namely to fix the host city share on the earnings of the PAGCOR, amending for that purpose Section 12. And the reasons probably would not just be to contribute to the coffers of the LGU concerned, but to shoulder in any way some social services costs being shouldered by the host LGU. And to reiterate my support, the objectives of the measure filed by the good congressman from Parañaque, as well as to meet the objectives not just of the city government of Parañaque, but the other host cities, to name a few, Bacolod, Cebu, even Tagaytay, Olongapo, and Lawag. So nararapat lang po siguro, Mr. Chairman, na gawin ng fix, gawin ng isang matatag na hindi na ng PAGCOR sa mga host city sa kadahilanan. Ang pagiging host city ay hindi lang pag-host ng infrastruktura. Nandun na po lahat.
Bill number 2061 of Senator
ng basura,
Francis Tolentino, an act fixing the host city share
na binibigay
on the
ng
earnings
So, I reiterate
of
my
the Philippine Amusement and Gaming
I
Corporation,
reiterate
PAGCOR.
the reasons
We're
behind
honored to
Senate
be
Bill
joined
2061,
today
as well
by
as
our colleagues from the House of
the city
Representatives
government of,
and
Parañaque.
officials from the various local government units. Okay, and would like to, we have here Congressman, the presence of Senator Olivares. Would you like to give an opening statement, colleagues from the House of Representatives?
Salamat po,
Honorable
Senator
Edwin
Tulfo.
Olivares,
Dati
District
pong
Representative of
dating
Parañaque
chairman ng
City,
Metro
District
Manila
1,
Development Authority na
and
nakatapako po 9
Honorable
years, Senator Francis Tolentino.
Representative
Sa lahat ng mga committee on
Gus
Games
S.
and Amusement,
Tambunting, District
Yes.
Representative,
magandang
Parañaque
hapon
City,
po muli sa atin lahat.
District 2.
I would like to sincerely express
And,
my gratitude
Any
for the
of our
privilege
colleagues would
of
like
being
to
invited to
give an
today's
opening
public
statement,
hearing
Senator Tolentino?
of Senate Bill
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
2061, introduced
I am
by our
here to
Honorable Senator Francis
reiterate
Tolentino.
the rationale
Ano po
of
malingkod
the
ay
House
biyak natin na
House Bill
kapulan ng panukan ng batas
2061,
ng mababang kapulungan. Ang House
namely,
Bill
to fix
5283
the
ang
host
ating
city share
pinasa
on
at
the
nagkaroon
earnings
ng
of
sapat na pag-amenda
amending for that
matapos
purpose.
ang masusi at
Sure,
epektibong
And
talakayan
the reasons
sa
probably would not
Committee
just
ng
be
Games and Amusement
to
ng mga
contribute
stakeholders,
to the coffers of the
kabilang na
LGU
ang mga
concerned,
kinatawan ng
to
Philippine
shoulder
Amusement
in
Gaming
any way
Corporation at
some
kapwa natin
social
mga kinatawan sa mababang
services
kaplan.
costs being shouldered
Under its charter,
by the host LGU.
Presidential Decree
And to reiterate my support,
1869,
objectives of the
PAGCOR's
measure
authority
filed
to
by
regulate,
the
operate,
good
authorize, and
congressman
license
from,
games of chance,
Parañaque,
games
as
of
well as
cards,
to meet
and games of
the
numbers,
objectives, not just of
particularly
the
casino gaming.
city government of Parañaque,
Generate
but
revenues
the
for the
other
government's socio,
host
civic, and
cities,
national development
to name a
programs,
few, Bacolod,
and help
Cebu,
promote the tourism industry.
Tagaytay, Olongapo, and
Mula
Lawag.
po na
So,
nagsimula ang
nararapat
operasyon
lang
ng
po siguro,
PAGCOR,
Mr.
wala
Chairman,
pong duda na ito'y nagkaroon ng
gawin
malaking
ng
kontribusyon sa pag-unlad ng bayan
gawin ng
sa pamamagitan ng paglaghak ng
Kasi for the past months po, dinadamdam po talaga namin. Yung stress po na binigay sa amin, hindi talaga makatao. Sipin niyo sir, Christmas party namin, sinabihan kami ng chairman namin na, o kayo, mag-practice na kayo, minom na ng banog. Kasi mamaya, kasi bukas makalaw, wala na kayong trabaho. Parang ganun sir. Parang walang ano sir eh. Napaka-inhumane kasi. Kaya ang sakit-sakit sa amin, sir.
Christmas party yun.
Yes, sir.
Binigyan
Mas
ka ng
party
masamang
natin,
balita.
ganun. Buti nga, sir, wala ako dun eh. Hindi ko mismo na-experience eh. Pero imagine niyo, sir, di ba? Andun kayo para
So, sino nakarinig noon?
Marami, sir. Sinabi niya po yun sa mic, sir eh. Ganun po siya ka-inhumane, sir. Ganun po, sorry for the term, sir, pero kawalang hiya po yung chairman namin. Sorry for the term po talaga. Talaga pong ganun. Sobrang...
Kung totoo siya, sabi mo talagang walang hiya.
Yes, sir. Pasensya na po kung yun po yung term. Pero hindi ko po talaga kasi siya ma-describe bukod sa word na yun eh. Kasi talagang hindi niya po pinipigil yung sarili niya eh. Tapos,
Kung
sir,
sa salitang kalye, tarantado yun. Kalye, hindi naman tayo sa kalye. So, walang hiya lang, okay na.
ako, I feel po na ngayon po na binigyan niyo po kami ng panahon ng atensyon, ng aruga, pag-asa, sir. Marami po sa mga empleyado ngayon ng malamang umiiyak o nagbubunyugi po. Kasi, sir, grabe po yung pinagdaanan namin, sir. Ito po nakaraang buwan po. Ang dami po sa amin na gusto ng pakamatay. Gusto nang umalis ng PAGCOR. May mga ganun, sir eh. May mga medical, wag po ay mga sir, yung mga medical certificate po nila, sir, ipe-present po namin sa committee na to para po malaman ninyo galit po. Grabe yung ginawa nila sa amin. Ako, sir, yung stress ko po, sir, dahil po sa ginawa nila sa akin, dinudugo po ako. Ganun po kalala. Tumatae po.
Sa Bosa, nakita mo, kung ikaw po nasa sitwasyon nila, for so many years, naging loyal ka sa PAGCOR, ginawa mo yung narapat na gawin, trabaho mo, may family ka, umaasa sa iyo. And then all of a sudden, mababalitaan mo lang, masisibak ka na. How would you feel?
Mr. Chair, kung gano'n ang situation, I would feel the same.
Exactly. Di ba? Yan kasi, napapadalos-dalos kayo. He provide us with those documents.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And magkano lahat nabentahan ba o plano pa lang ibibenta?
Hindi ko binibenta. Walang
Okay,
benta.
anyway, plano pa lang. And we need to see the MOA. Meron pa lang MOA, talaga ibibenta na yan. Nagkaroon ng MOA eh.
Hindi ho benta, lisensya ho ang binigay sa kanila.
Kaya nga, ang susunod na yan, mabibenta na. Binigyan niyo ng lisensya. Why would you give a license to someone na wala kayong intensyon na bibigyan sila ng ng operations?
Wala ho kaming ibibenta. Kanila ho yung property.
Kaya nga, parang gano'n na, binenta nyo sa kanila yung sila na mag-ooperate. Sila mag-take over sa inyo pag-ooperate. Kung magkano yung revenue na kinikita ng PAGCOR on that particular site, na casino na yan, sila na mapupunta sa kanila. Pareho lang yun. Pinaikot mo lang ako eh. Go ahead. And kayo dyan sa PAGCOR, alam mo, nag-init ang ulo ko sa inyo eh. Pasensya na. Not you guys personally, hindi naman kayo members ng board. Ito members ng board. Nagagawa-gawa silang board resolution na hindi iniisip yung kapakanan ng mga tao. Dapat, bago kayo yung mga taga-board, members ng board, iniisip din kapakanan ng mga empleyado. If you don't comply with that, ipapakontempt namin kayo, promise. In a blink of an eye, I won't have second thoughts na pakulong kayo dyan sa baba. Kung kinakailan isang linggo, isang buwan, I don't care. Alang-alang dun sa manapin natin mga manggagawa. Kahit paabuti kayo na isang taon dyan sa baba, I don't care. Dami ko ng pinakulong dyan, mga pulis, mga kernel, kayo pa. Kahit pa ABP, kahit pa BP Finance, I don't care. Kahit pa anong pwesto nyo sa gobyerno. Pag nang-api kayo ng pobre kababayan natin, tabla-tabla tayo, okay? Francis Tolentino, an act fixing the host city share on the earnings of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, PAGCOR. We're honored to be joined today by our colleagues from the House of Representatives and officials from the various local government units. And would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Tolentino here today and our colleagues from the House of Representatives, Honorable Edwin Olivares, District Representative of Parañaque City, District 1, and Honorable Representative Gus S. Tambunting, District Representative, Parañaque City, District 2. And any of our colleagues would like to give an opening statement? Senator Tolentino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am here to reiterate the rationale of the House Bill 2061, namely to fix the host city share on the earnings of the PAGCOR, amending for that purpose Section 12. And the reasons probably would not just be to contribute to the coffers of the
would like to, we have here Congressman, the persons of Senator Olivares, would you like to give an opinion? And our colleagues, Olivares, from the House of
Maraming
Representatives,
salamat po,
Honorable
Senator.
Edwin Olivares,
Dating
District
pong
Representative
dating
of
chairman
Parañaque
ng
City,
Metro
District
Manila
1,
Development Authority na
and
nakatrabaho for 9
Honorable
years, Senator Francis Tolentino.
Representative okay na.
Ako ay ng aruga.
بالذات بتشتي بنكون كتير بردانين وبنكون
Aruga, pag-asa, sir. Marami po sa mga empleyado ngayon ang malamang umiiyak o nagbubunyog. Si sir, grabe po yung pinagdaanan namin, sir. Ito po nakarang buwan po. Ang dami po sa malis ng PAGCOR. May mga ganun, sir. Eh. May mga medical, wag po ay mga sir. Yung mga medical certificate po nila, sir, ipe-present po namin sa committee na to para po malaman nyo galing po grabe yung ginawa nila sa amin. Ako, sir, yung stress ko po, sir, dahil po sa ginawa nila sa akin, dinudugo po ako. Ganun po kalala. Tumatay po ako dun. Kasi po, hindi po talaga makatarong ang ginawa nila. Yun lang po.
Dapat na gawin, trabaho mo, may family ka, umaasa sa iyo. And then all of a sudden, mababalitaan mo lang, masisibak ka na. How would you feel?
Mr. Chair, kung gano'n ang situation, I would feel the same.
Exactly. Di ba? Yan kasi, napapadalos-dalos kayo. He provide us with those documents.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And magkano lahat, bentahan ba o plano pa lang ibibenta?
Hindi ko binibenta. Walang
Okay,
bentahan.
anyway, plano pa lang. And we need to see the MOA. Eh, meron pa lang MOA, talaga ibibenta na yan. Eh, nagkaroon ng MOA eh.
Hindi ko benta, lisensya ko ang binigay sa kanila.
Kaya nga, ang susunod na yan, mabibenta na. Eh, binigyan niya ng lisensya eh. Why would you give a license to someone na wala kayong intensyon na bibigyan sila ng ng operations?
Wala ko kaming ibibenta. Kanila ho yung property.
Kaya nga, parang gano'n na Alang-alang doon sa mga natin natin mga manggagawa. Kahit paabuti kayo ng isang taon dyan sa baba, I don't care. Dami ko ng pinakulong dyan, mga pulis, mga kernel, kayo pa. Kahit pa ABP, kahit pa BP Finance, I don't care. Kahit paanong pwesto sa gobyerno. Pag nang-api kayo ng pobre kababayan natin, tabla-tabla tayo, okay? Francis Tolentino, an act fixing the host city share on the earnings of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, PAGCOR. We're honored to be joined today by our colleagues from the House of Representatives and officials from the various local government units. And would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Tolentino, is here today, and our colleagues from the House of Representatives, Honorable Edwin Olivares, District Representative of Parañaque City, District 1, and Honorable Representative Gus S. Tambunding, District Representative, Parañaque City, District 2. And any of our colleagues would like to give an opening statement? Senator Tolentino?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am here to reiterate the rationale of the House Bill 2061, namely to fix the host city share on the earnings of the PAGCOR, amending for that purpose Section 12. And the reasons probably would not just be to contribute to the coffers of the LGU concerned, but to shoulder in any way some social services costs being shouldered by the host LGU, and to reiterate my support the objectives of the measure filed by the good congressman from Parañaque, as well as to meet the objectives not just of the city government of Parañaque, but the other host cities, to name a few, Bacolod, Cebu, even Tagaytay, Olongapo, and Lawag. So nararapat lang po siguro, Mr. Chairman, na gawin ng fix, gawin ng isang matatag na hindi na fluctuating na kontribusyon ng PAGCOR sa mga host city sa kadahilanan. Ang pagiging host city ay hindi lang pag-host ng infrastruktura. Nandun na po lang
Bill number 2061 of Senator Francis Tolentino, an act fixing the host city share on the earnings
I reiterate
of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, PAGCOR.
the reasons
We're
behind
honored to be joined today by our colleagues from the House of Representatives and officials from the various local government units. Okay, and would like to, we have here Congressman, the presence of Edwin Olivares. Would you like today give an opening statement, our colleagues Olivares from the House of Representatives,
Salamat po,
Honorable
Senator
Edwin Olivares,
Dati
District
po
Representative of
dating chairman
Parañaque
ng
City,
Metro
District
Manila
1,
Development Authority na nakatrabaho po 9
Honorable,
years, Senator Francis Tolentino.
Representative
sir, pero kawalang hiya po yun. Yung chairman namin. Sorry for the term po talaga. Talaga pong ganun. Sobrang...
kung totoo siya sabi mo talagang walang hiya.
Yes sir, pasensya na po kung yun po yung term, pero hindi ko po talaga kasi siya ma-describe bukod sa word na yun eh. Kasi talagang hindi niya po pinipigil yung sarili niya eh. Tapos
Kung
sir,
sa salitang kalye, tarantado yun. Kalye, hindi naman tayo sa kalye. So walang hiya lang, okay na.
ako I feel po na ngayon po na binigyan niyo po kami ng panahon ng atensyon, ng aruga, pag-asa sir. Marami po sa mga empleyado ngayon ng malamang umiiyak o nagbubunyugi po. Kasi sir, grabe po yung pinagdaanan namin sir. Ito po nakarambuan po. Ang dami po sa amin na gusto na gusto ng
Tulfo here at 85-year-old. Mag-ready kayo ng mga questions nyo, live or via Zoom. Mr. Orion Perez Dumdum, our very appointed speaker, is principal co-founder of the Correct Movement. By the way, if his face looks familiar, siya yung resource speaker in many hearings in Congress about charter change. In the Dumdum spearheads a campaign to enlighten the Filipino public about the issues of constitutional reform and the need to rectify our economic situation, our lack of economic competitiveness and transformation. He hopes to redirect the future of the Philippines by encouraging economic competitiveness. He is an overseas Filipino worker based in Singapore. He draws inspiration from his experiences in progressive nations with parliamentary systems. He has witnessed a profound and systemic impact. Alam niya yung lack of local and foreign investments, why results in high unemployment and other problems. He is a dynamic force in the information technology sector, where he navigates systems with a blend of logic and objectivity. Orion prioritizes practical and crucial points and ideas in debates on charter change. Tinanong ko ng background niya, he said he is half Cebuano and half Tagalog, and grew up in Cebu City. That's why he also advocates federalism. For people who are a little bit older, he also became well known years ago for being a standout winner sa RPN 9 quiz show, Battle of the Brains. Tatanungin ko din sa kanya yan. His piece, The Parable of the Mountain Bike, is part of Bob Ong's best-selling compilation of essays and has earned well-deserved recognition. Ibitahin natin, let us invite Orion Perez Dumdum to make an opening statement. Afterwards, let us ask freely any frank or even critical questions. Sabi niya, any questions he is willing to answer. Welcome, Mr. Orion Perez Dumdum.
Okay, maraming salamat, Wilson. Thank you very much for having me here, inviting me.
Thank you for coming back pala.
Yeah, second time ko na to dito. Last time, naka-zoom lang tayo. Ngayon talagang naka-live tayo. So, essentially, I am pro-constitutional reform. I would like to use the term constitutional reform because my problem with the word charter change is it is an only in the Philippines term na laging sinisira ng ibang taong kontra, gawin nilang cha-cha para magmukha siyang, ay, parang sayaw lang yan, purong sulong. Pero if you hear the word constitutional reform, nawawala yung negative context. No? Kasi ang word constitutional reform is actually the correct term used internationally. Manonood ganyan. Never nobody salitang charter change. Only in the Philippines po yan. So kami po, we basically advocate three main reforms. The first reform is the removal of anti-foreign direct investment restrictions in the Constitution. Why is that important? It's important because we want the Philippines to have a lot of jobs. So how do you get a lot of jobs? You allow the entry of many companies. Companies that may be from abroad, companies, even local companies, or local companies that have foreign backing, money, and technology, and know-how. So what we want is to do what many successful countries that used to be poor have done, which is yumaman sila dahil dati silang mahirap, yumaman sila dahil pinapasok nila ang sobrang foreign direct investors. Sino yung mga ganyan? Singapore po ang nag-pioneer niyan dito sa Asia. Nakita ni Lee Kuan Yew dati na wala sila masyadong local businessmen nung time na yon. Ang ginawa ni Lee Kuan Yew, okay, kung wala masyadong mga business, at kung meron tayong businessman, puro buy and sell lang, walang mga industrialists, let's bring in the foreign investors, let's bring the multinational companies. Let them come in, total, mag-create naman sila ng maraming trabaho, at pag dumami ang mga trabaho, ang mga tao na dating walang trabaho, na may trabaho na ngayon, magiging nagbabayad ng buwis. At pag nagbayad sila ng buwis, ang gobyerno magkakaroon ng pera, panggawa ng mga kalye, ng mga tulay, kung ano-ano pang mga hospitals, schools, mapapataas natin ang pagpasweldo ng ating mga government officials. Wala ang corruption. Yun ang ginawa ni Lee Kuan Yew. That's what he did in order to make Singapore the richest country in Asia in terms of GDP per capita. Okay? So, bring in foreign direct investors by removing restrictions inside the institution that discourage them from coming in. Secondly, hindi naman po pwede, we cannot have that all of the investors or most of the investors that come, most of the companies, the multinationals that come to the Philippines will all locate themselves in Metro Manila. We want to spread them out to the rest of the country. We want them to go to Region 1, Region 2, Region 3, all the different regions, not just NCR. What do we need to do to make that happen? Federalism. If we have federalism, we can then change the situation, we change the incentive scheme so that regions are able to attract investors, they are able to make decisions that are appropriate for their own situation. They can say things like, we will change the taxation structure here, we'll make it cheaper for businesses to come in, maybe lower the taxes, etc., etc. They will probably provide certain incentives. It's up to them, silang bahala. And for that reason, you have countries like Switzerland, for example, or Germany, which are federal, and as a result, their taxes are actually lower than many countries in Europe, which are unitary. Kumpara natin, Switzerland na federal versus Sweden na unitary. Sino mas mataas ang tax? Sino mas mababang tax? Nakikita natin na Switzerland has lower taxes in general kasi nagko-compete yung mga different cantons against each other to attract investors. Sweden, on the other hand, is unitary. So, ang tax, well, yun nga, it's one policy, one size fits all. The whole of Sweden is pretty much the same way. Walang internal competition masyado. Another situation I saw with my own eyes. I used to work in Philips, Dutch company, when I was in Singapore, and I went, of course, to the Netherlands, and I visited a friend who lived on Kerkrade. Kerkrade is actually on the border of the Netherlands and Germany. Okay, and there's one street there that divides them. So, yung mga tao na nandun sa Dutch side, sa Netherlands side, nagko-cross lang sila para makapag-shopping doon sa German side. Bakit? Kasi mas mura ang bilihin doon. Bakit? Kasi mas mura ang taxes sa Germany kumpara sa Netherlands. Netherlands is unitary. Germany is a Bundesrepublik, which is a federal republic. So, ganon, federalism, nagkakaroon ng internal competition yung mga regions, yung mga states or Länder or cantons or sa Canada, provinces. No? Yun yung nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng kompetensya, kaya bumababa yung general taxation. General, well, maybe not in Canada because Canada has a different set of ideas. But generally speaking, many countries that are federal have lower taxes. Compare Malaysia, which is federal, versus the Philippines, which is unitary. Malaysia has lower taxes than the Philippines. So, if we move to a federal system, a federal structure of territorial administration, we will be able to empower the different regions of the Philippines to attract investors, both local and foreign, to come to their areas. Tayong mga katulad ko na taga Cebu, taga Cebu, probinsyano, hindi na tataas na sweldo ng trabaho sa ating mga sariling hometown at mga home regions natin. Pag kita tayo yung ruling party sa loob ng legislatura ang attract investors, both local and foreign. Yun yung nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng kompetensya, kaya bumababa yung general taxation. Well, maybe not in Canada because Canada has a different set of ideas. But generally speaking, many countries that are federal have lower taxes. Compare Malaysia, which is federal, versus the Philippines, which is unitary. Malaysia has lower taxes than the Philippines. So, if we move to a federal system, a federal structure of territorial administration, we will be able to empower the different regions of the Philippines to attract investors, both local and foreign, to come to their areas. Tayong mga katulad ko na taga Cebu, originally taga Cebu, we won't need to come to Metro Manila to find work. Yung mga hindi na kailangan magdagsaan sa Metro Manila. Pwede po tayong magkakaroon ng mga magagandang matataas na ating mga sariling hometown at mga home regions natin pag nag-represent tayo. Ngayon, unitary tayo, kaya lahat sa Metro Manila, ayan, sobra ayos ang traffic. Federalism po. Development sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas, mag-vend the lousy system na minadali nung ginawa siya. Good quality leadership, efficient governance, lower corruption. And to be able to do that, we need a form of government that enables this to happen. And in the research that we've done ever since, we found out with so many PhD authored white papers and dissertations that me and my team have gone through, kitang-kita talaga po na sobrang superior magtatanong siguro kayo, bakit? Bakit ganyan? Akala ko ba presidential may separation of powers para may check and balance. Yung check and balance ng sistema natin ngayon ay actually nagpa-block yung gusto natin gawin to, block yan, block. Yan ang ginagawa. Ng executive, gusto ng legislative, pwedeng i-block kung dito ay yung meron sa parliamentary system na kung saan yung ruling party sa loob na nagiging administration. Tapos yung natalo, yung hindi malakas pa rin sila, nagiging opposition siya. Resibo, nakikita hindi lamang ng mga nasa administrasyon, pero obligado silang bigyan talaga ng kopya ang taga-oposisyon. So nakabantay lagi ang taga-oposisyon. Eh siyempre ang oposisyon gusto nilang sila mananalo sa next election eh. So maghahanap lagi ng butas yan. So binubusisi lagi nila anong ginagawa ng gobyerno. Yan ang rason kung bakit superior ang parliamentary system. Yan ang rason kung bakit pag tinignan natin ang Transparency International na Corruption Perception Index, tingnan natin yung listing ng lahat ng mga bansa according to least corrupt to most corrupt. You would find, you look at the top 30 countries in that list, top 30 countries, majority nila parliamentary. Tapos dun sa bottom, the worst in terms of corruption, last 30, makikita natin, mostly presidential. And of course, we also have a lot of studies to prove that. So there's a study by 3 economists, si Norman Loaiza, si Rodrigo Suarez, at saka si Daniel Lederman, mga Latin American sila na nag-aaral sa US. Gumawa sila ng study na kinumpara nila presidential versus parliamentary. Ginawa nila ng mga statistical regression analysis at lumabas talaga na talagang significantly higher ang corruption pag presidential system. Lower corruption, higher transparency, higher efficiency pag parliamentary system. And they're not the only ones who made that same kind of study. There was another study made by Boston University, specifically by John Gehring and Strom Thacker. Ganon din ang kalabasan. It was a different study but made in a different year. Pero ang kalabasan ganon din. Pag parliamentary, less prone to corruption. Pag presidential, more prone to corruption. Kasi sa presidential system, walang nakabantay sa executive. Sa parliamentary, meron laging nakabantay. Real-time pa. Real-time monitoring. Galing ako sa IT, mas maganda yung real-time kaysa sa after the fact. Kasi ang sa sistema natin ngayon, pagkatapos nagkaroon ng desisyon, tapos na-implement tayo ng doon na lang nagkakaroon ng punahan, doon na lang nagkakaroon ng pagbabatipos. Hindi. Parliamentary system pwede magkaroon ng real-time na pagbabatipos. And in a parliamentary system, makikita nyo, kung tingnan nyo sa YouTube, puntahan ninyo yung mga British parliamentary debates, makikita nyo kung sino ang pinakamataas na official na decision maker, yung Prime Minister, ay isa. And in fact, most of the time, laging ang Prime Minister ng leader of the opposition, who is like the shadow Prime Minister. Okay? So, kung sana, nalaman po ng maraming mga Pilipino na mas maganda pa na talaga ang parliamentary system. Dapat ang parliamentary system na tayo dati pa. In fact, 1948 pa lang, isinusulong na ni Claro M. Recto na lumipat sana ang Pilipinas sa parliamentary system. Bakit? Kasi nakita niya mas maganda ang parliamentary system. Pinag-aralan niya, nakita niya ang British style system. So he really pushed for that. Kaya nga nagkaroon tayo nung 1970 Constitutional Convention. Bakit nag-shift to presidential? From presidential to parliamentary. Bakit dapat nag-parliamentary tayo? Hindi po si Marcos Sr. ang nag-anukala niya, na? Hindi po siya. It was the members, the delegates of the Constitutional Convention that made that decision to go with the parliamentary system. So, ganun po talaga yon. Now, if you all do your research, makikita po ninyo, mas maganda talaga ang parliamentary system. Okay? Sana po, don't just take my word for it. Do your research on it. Do your due diligence on it. Makikita po ninyo, internationally, kilala talaga ang parliamentary system as being way better on so many different performance indices. So, yun po, tatlo po ang sinusulong namin sa correct movement. Number one, pagtatanggal ng mga anti-foreign direct investment restrictions sa loob ng Constitution para dumami ang mga investors, para dumami ang mga trabaho, para sana mas maraming trabaho kaysa sa mga Pilipino at hindi na natin kinakailangan maging OFW na malayo sa ating mga pamilya. Diba? Imbis na magpapadala tayo ng mga OFW sa labas, bakit hindi na lang ang mga kumpanya na nasa labas ay pumunta sa Pilipinas para magkaroon ng trabaho mga Pilipino, para hindi tayo naglalayo sa ating mga mahal sa buhay? Yan ang tanong ko. Ba't hindi natin naisip yan? Kasi nationalistic yung iba, let's protect the local tycoons, the local businessmen. Pero yung ibang local businessmen, mayayaman na. Ang kailangan ng proteksyon, ang kailangan ng trabaho ay ang mga ordinaryong katulad nating mga poor and middle class. Yung mga namamasukan, yun yung kailangan ng trabaho. And eventually, some of us, pag gumanda ang situation natin, nagiging businessman din. Ganun lang yun. Ganun lang yung nangyari sa Singapore. Okay? So yun yung una. Dumami ang trabaho by removing the restrictions. Number two, para hindi lahat magsiksikan sa Metro Manila, hindi lahat ng trabaho ay nasa Metro Manila, spread out yan, federalism. At para magkaroon ng mas magandang, episyenteng sistema, parliamentary system, hindi yung sistema na meron tayo ngayon na bulok at walang kwenta. In fact, hindi nga American system ang kaya natin eh. Although we thought we were copying the American system, we ended up emulating the Mexican system. Bakit? Because we have the exact same term limits that Mexico has. La verdad es que tenemos el sistema de México, cabrones. Señores y señoras, la verdad es que lo que tenemos hoy en día es un sistema que no funciona. Sorry. Sinasabi natin, mga kababayan, yung sistema na meron tayo, ay yung gaya na nasa Mexico. Yung nasa Mexico, one-term president, na years lang din. El sexenio ang tawag. Sexenio ang tawag nila. Kaya nga sexenio kasi 6 years. Yun yung meron tayo. Kahit ang galing-galing ng Pangulo, hindi siya pwedeng tumagal sa pwesto. Hindi tayo magkakaroon ng Lee Kuan Yew sa Pilipinas na 30 years na dahil sa ang galing-galing niya, nakapag-30 years. Hindi tayo magkakaroon ng ganyan dahil kinakailangan laging umalis pagkatapos kahit ang galing-galing niya. Diba? 6 years lang. Kaya ba ng mga long-term projects sa 6 years? Hindi. Di ba? Tapos, yung mga terms ng mga lower officials, ganun din. Sa Mexico, 2 6-year terms lang din ang kanilang senators. Tapos, unlike us, 3-year terms. La verdad es que tenemos el mismo tipo de resultado que en México. We have the same results as Mexico. Yung po mga kababayan, sana po mapag-aralan ng marami mga Pilipino kung bakit mas maganda itong mga isinusulong namin. Kami po sa Correct Movement, nasa social media kami nagsimula, 2010, late 2010. Hindi po kami, kami po ordinaryong mga tao lang kami, mga OFW mostly. At mga nagsimula, IT professionals, engineers, mga medical professionals, architects, ganun yung mga taong galing sa mga technical na trabaho. Kasi gusto namin maintindihan, bakit ganito? Mas maganda yung ganitong sistema kaysa sa ganyan sistema. Dahil ganun po yung mga trabaho namin, nag-a-analyze kami ng mga algorithms, nag-a-analyze po kami ng mga sistema, naghahanap kami ng mga itong mga problema, no? Mga loopholes, itong mga inefficiencies sa mga algorithm, etc. Ganyan kasi trabaho namin eh. Di ba? Nakita namin. At yung lumalabas, mas naintindihan namin kaysa, no offense, sa maraming lawyers. Maraming kumukontra sa mga constitutional reform na to, mga lawyers. Pero marami sa mga engineers, marami sa mga IT professionals na nakakaintindi. Alam namin na mas maganda to. Mas maganda ang ganitong sistema, itong parliamentary system. Mas maganda ang federalism para sa Pilipinas. At mas maganda na maging bukas tayo sa pagpasok ng mga foreign direct investors. Kasi, lalo na kaming mga OFW, nakikita namin anong nangyayari sa labas ng bansa. Nakikita namin na napag-iwanan na tayo. Ako po, sa trabaho ko dati sa Singapore, nagtatravel ako, regional po yung trabaho ko as project manager. Kinakailangan ko pumunta sa iba't ibang mga bansa. Nakikita ako talaga eh. At napapaiyak ako na dati, itong bansang to, mas mahirap kaysa sa Pilipinas. Una kong pagdating sa Singapore, nalaman ng cab driver na sinakyan ko. Yo Filipino ah. Yes sir, I'm a Filipino. You know Philippines before, Philippines used to be the richest country in Southeast Asia. Ganyan siya, richest country. Singapore, Philippines used to be the richest country. Philippines used to be the richest country in Southeast Asia. Singapore, we used to be poorer than you. In fact, Hong Kong people, women from Hong Kong go to Philippines to become maid before. Now it's the other way around. Why? What happened? Baliktad na ngayon. Dati 1950s, maraming mga matatandang dalaga, ganyan, galing sa Hong Kong, pumupunta sa Pilipinas, nagiging maid para sa mga mayabang mga pamilya, mga middle class na families. Ngayon, baliktad na. Dagsa-dagsaan ng mga Pilipinas sa Hong Kong at sa Singapore at iba't ibang mga bansa. Bakit? Kasi walang trabaho. Yung iba dyan, puro mga accounting graduate, iba dyan, cum laude pa, pero iba dyan, public school teacher, pero naging maid. Bakit? Kasi mababang sweldo. Bakit mababang sweldo? Simple law of supply and demand. Sobrang dami mga aplikante, konti lang ang trabaho. Pag sobrang konti ng trabaho, sobrang dami ng aplikante, ano nangyayari? Mababa ang job offer. Singapore, baliktad. Mas maraming trabaho, mas maraming job opening kaysa sa mga aplikante, kaysa sa mga citizen. Law of supply and demand, dahil mas maraming trabaho kaysa sa mga aplikante, mataas ang sweldo. Simple lang. Yun sana ang ginawa natin. Diba? So, yun lang po. Sana maintindihan po natin na itong tatlong reforma ito, gusto po namin ma-educate ang maraming mga tao. Meron po kaming website, correctphilippines.org. Puntahan po ninyo yan. Marami po kami mga resources. Marami po kami mga research, marami kami mga articles. Matututunan ninyo kung bakit mas maganda na baguhin na natin ang lumang sistema na hindi pala gumagana masyado para sa atin. Meron po tayong tinatawag na operating system ng Pilipinas. Yung operating system natin ay yung konstitusyon. Meron tayong mga cellphone, computer. Di ba gusto natin naka-upgrade, naka-update ang ating operating system para latest? Hindi man lang natin na-update or upgrade ang ating operating system. Not a single, kahit ni isang tuldok, ni isang letra, hindi na bago sa 1987 Constitution. Luma pa rin. Tapos lahat, sa economic system, sa political system, sa structure of territorial administration natin, mali-mali kasi minadali. 4 months lang gagawa ng konstitusyon. 4 months lang ang pag 86 natin nilagyan ng maraming mga restrictions against foreign direct investors. At the same time, in 1986, late 1986, yun din yung panahon na kailan ang Vietnam, na isang supposedly communist country, ay nagtanggang maging kapitalistang bansa at naging bukas sa pagpasok ng foreign direct investors. Binago nila ang sistema nila, nagkaroon sila yung tinatawag na Goy-Moy reforms. Itong Goy-Moy reforms, ito po yung renovation reforms ang tinatawag. Ito po yung reforms na nagbago sa sistemang ekonomiya ng Vietnam. At ang Vietnam ay isa sa mga fastest growing economies dito sa Southeast Asia. Kitang-kita po natin, ako po nakapunta ako doon, very impressed ako. So, naungusan na tayo. Late 2021, naungusan tayo ng Vietnam.
Galing. Thank you for your opening statement, Mr. Orion Perez. May mga tanong na kasi. Excited mga tao magtanong. But before we go to the question and answer, I'd like to acknowledge a special guest natin dito. One of the best political analysts in the country. You are very privileged to have him here. Si Professor Alex Magno. Sikat na columnist of Philippine Star and one of the best professors in Philippine political science. Magaling yan. Brilliant.
I have quoted his articles before, his pro-constitutional reform articles a lot.
Yeah, you are very lucky. Kasi senator, minsan hindi niya pinupuntahan. Namimili siguro ng matalino.
I have quoted his articles and I have shared and spammed and spread and shared his articles before. I featured his article on our website.
Wow. Yeah, very good to have him here physically. And then, of course, magaling siya. And beside him pala, si Mr. George Swacham is the Government Liaison Committee Chairman and Board Member of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry from Tacubang City. Kasi he wants to hear what you have to say kasi he is involved in government liaison. So marami siyang kilalang mga legislators and politicians na he could share your ideas too. So thank you to all the other people who are here, especially media friends. May tanong tayo, nakiusap isang tao sa Amerika kasi gabi na daw sa Amerika is Malu C. Mariano from Long Beach, California. Ano siya, Filipino based in California. Gabi daw doon ngayon. She's not a lawyer, she's not a politics expert. She just wants to ask from you a very short summary now ng advantages and disadvantages of constitutional reform or charter change.
Okay. Actually, there are really so many pros.
Mention, di ba, foreign investment, the others.
Yes. There's so many pros. I mean, number one, we need to change our system. That's the truth. We need to upgrade our system. Luma na talaga ang sistema natin. So, matagal nang kailangan baguhin yun. In fact, hindi lang sa luma, pero mali. Nagkamali sila during the 1986 Constitutional Commission. They were choosing between the presidential and parliamentary system. And many people there were already saying we need to have a parliamentary system because it's better. It was already coming out that the findings of the superiority of the parliamentary system were already coming out in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. No? But then some people there said, "Ay, hindi kasi sanay tayo. We're used to the presidential system, so let's go with it." And then nagkaroon ng botohan by one vote lang.
Natalo by one vote
One vote lang. Naging presidential tayo kahit na ba mas maganda pala talaga ang parliamentary system. So yun ang, ganyan. kinakailangan talagang baguhin.
Sorry, may tanong din pala dito, tatlo. I forgot to, sorry, take that yun. May tatlo na tanong dito na they like your ideas now. They're listening to your idea. They like your arguments about need for charter change. Ang problema, sabi nung the controversy daw, it's because the one supposedly pushing this idea daw is a controversial politician daw, sabi nung isa. May nagsabi nito na taga-media na si allegedly Speaker Martin Romualdez na supposedly controversial. What is your comment and recommendation to the public about this?
Okay, I urge everybody to stay away from personality politics and to please first understand how the House of Representatives works. Okay? Number one, the Speaker does not have absolute superiority over the rest of the chamber. He does not. He's only one person with one vote. He's only a primus inter pares, first among equals. So, in reality, if you really look at it, hindi naman siya talaga ang nag-push nito. Who pushed for it? Ang nag-push nito, una, last year pa, ay yung House Committee on Constitutional Amendments headed by Rufus Rodriguez. And hindi lang si Rufus Rodriguez, maraming iba't ibang mga kongresista ang tumulong dyan. Congressman Richard Gomez, si Stella Kimbo, si Joey Salceda, ang dami-daming si Pido Garbin, ang dami-daming mga tao tumutulong dyan. Okay, sa pagtalin ng mga minention mo. It's a collective effort in the committee, no? And then hindi lang sa committee, nung pinakita nila sa plenaryo, mga overwhelming, parang the whole chamber except for 7 people voted for it. Gusto nila na magbago ang konstitusyon. Last year yun. Pero pagdating sa Senado, 4 lang ang gusto. Si Senator Tolentino, Senator Bato, Senator Bongo, at saka si Senator Robin Padilla, nakilala ko.
May tanong pa ako, sorry, may nagtatanong pa dito na people of like me, not politics expert, what will prevail sa tingin mo? Kasi hindi kami knowledgeable about the details. May nagsasabi, constitutional convention daw, you will elect delegates. May nagsasabi, constituent assembly. Tapos may nagsasabi, people's initiative. Can you please explain the differences and what will really happen now?
Okay.
Anong chances of what's happening now?
Okay. Before that, I'll finish the first one. So
Yes.
yung first one, sinasabi ko, last year pa sinusulong yan. Last year pa. Tapos nasupalpal ng Senado kasi nakulangan sa votes. Rules nila is that kung meron kang pinapasa ngayong year na to, tapos hindi napasa, pwedeng next year try again. Ito po yung try again na yan. Kasi tinry nila last year, hindi gumana. O try again ngayon. Bakit? Porket nagkaroon ng kontrobersya na, hindi niyo gusto yung taong to, hindi niyo gusto, susupalpalin niyo yung buong panukala. You're gonna throw away the baby with the bathwater?
So last year pa to, kasi you were one of the resource.
I was one of the resource persons in the hearing. So many other people went there. Sinusupalpal yung mga efforts ng mga taong bayan katulad ko, na OFW, na pumunta doon sa house para magbigay ng inputs. Diba? Parang, dahil lang sa ayaw ng ibang tao sa isang tao, na iisa lang ang boto, na kung tutuusin, yung posisyon na yan ay replaceable. Replaceable ang speaker. Bakit? Noong panahon ni Duterte, ilan ba yung mga naging speaker natin? Di ba 4? Di ba dati si Alvarez, Speaker Alvarez, tapos nag-change si Speaker GMA. And then after that, nagkaroon tayo ng bago si Cayetano. And then after Cayetano, si Velasco. 4 pala in 1/3. Oo, nagkaroon tayo ng maraming speaker nung time. So ibig sabihin, pag speaker ka, hindi porket speaker ka ngayon, speaker ka forever or during the whole 6-year term. Hindi.
So it's actually more democratic.
Yeah,
You're not stuck with the...
You're not stuck. That is a position that is replaceable. Pwedeng matanggal, pwedeng magkaroon ng reshuffling na magbabago. Baka next month, baka may pagbabago. So, kontra pa rin kayo sa constitutional reform dahil ayaw yung taong ayaw nyo wala na pala dyan. I mean, ito yung sinasabi ko, huwag kayong maging masyadong naka-focus sa isang tao lang. Kasi the way things work in Congress is one person, one vote. Yung dahil nandun siya sa posisyon, kaya niyang ipataw yung kanyang kagustuhan dun sa iba. Hindi. That's not how Congress works.
We have a question here.
The second question.
wait,
What
second-
is that again? Because the difference of,
Yes.
okay.
Anong tanong nila? Ano yung tinatawag na People's Initiative? Yan ba? Tapos, can you summarize it lang? And the other options and what is going to happen now based on your analysis? May chance ba? How do you forecast or see this
Okay.
report now?
So according to Article 17, there are three modes of changing the constitution. The first one is a constituent assembly. Constituent assembly that requires a 3/4 vote of both houses. Problem is, hindi nakasulat dun sa ating constitution kung jointly or separately pa ang gagawin.
So what will happen?
So the people's initiative, so that's the first one. The second one is constitutional convention. You know, constitutional convention, when you convene a constitutional convention, you're basically saying, okay, we're going to call for an election where we will have ordinary people from different districts running to become delegates. And those who win, they will become delegates to the constitutional convention and they will give their inputs to create a new constitution.
Parang Congress, pero hindi sila Congress.
They're a parallel Congress.
Wow.
Parallel Congress composed of non-Congressmen.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Number 3.
Number 3, People's Initiative.
Yun
Yun
yung
yung
nangyayari ngayon.
nangyayari ngayon.
Ano
Now,
yan? Paki-explain.
so People's Initiative, it's basically coming from ordinary people. So as we know, it's coming from PIRMA. PIRMA is the same group from the 1990s time ni President Ramos that were pushing for changes to the Constitution. Itong grupo na to matagal na sila nagsusulong nito.
Ilang percent kailangan nila makuha
12%. 12%.
of having
12% of the entire Philippines, if I'm not mistaken.
the voting population of the whole population?
Of the voting population.
Which is?
I'm not sure. I don't.
Yes. So, ito, may nagtanong. Based on your analysis and chismis na rinrinig ko, maraming lumalabas sa balita, may chance pa mangyari itong the third option or it can be blocked by the Senate? Kasi nakita ko yung news 2 days ago all over the headlines. All the senators unanimously oppose this. Can they block it legally or
They
not?
cannot. I'm sorry to say, senators, you cannot block it because this
they
is
cannot
coming
block it.
from the people. There is nothing in the Constitution that says that you have the ability to block it. You cannot. This is coming from the people. I support it myself. I support it. So do so many other
So
people.
malaking chance it will push through with or without
They-
the Senate.
They got the signatures and
How many percent na daw ang narinig mo?
12% na eh. I think they've reached it already, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, for me, it's like this. The thing about the People's Initiative is ideally it happens, then yes, it forces the Senate to be joined together with the Congress. Why? With the House. Why? Well, traditionally, since the 1987 Constitution, the Senate has always been blocking constitutional reform. May mga magagandang panukala galing sa Kamara, and the people from the House, from the lower house, are representatives of different sectors and constituencies. People from the Senate, they do not have any constituencies. They are mini presidents, voted at large nationwide. So they do not have, unlike in the USA, where senators
Federal.
come from the states. Sa atin, wala eh. Lahat naka-national, nationwide. Ano, eh. Diba? So name recall talaga ang nangyayari. Kahit magaling ka, hindi ka naman kilala, hindi ka mananalo. So yun ang nangyayari sa sistema natin. Ang nangyayari, may nagiging kayabangan. I'm sorry to say, sa mga senator, nagkakaroon ng certain kayabangan ng marami sa kanila na gusto na i-block ang any attempt to make even one small slight change sa Constitution.
Were you blocked during the hearings? Were you blocked during the hearings?
I don't know.
So when you were talking sa Senate, did they nag-o-oppose sila? Marami.
Hindi naman yung senators ang nagano kasi yung nasa committee hearings mga pro naman sila.
Yes.
Pero yung so of course dun sa tawag nito sa House may mga taga-Makabayan block na na kumukontra pero unfortunately mga makalumang pag-iisip ng mga lumalabas pa ng mga debate. So unfortunately pero hindi nila alam. Actually, mas nakakabuti ito para sa mga manggagawang Pilipino kung dumami ang mga trabaho, dumami ang mga kumpanya, ang mga ordinaryong mga magsasaka at mga ordinaryong manggagawa ay magkakaroon ng choice. Ay, dito sa company A, mababa makasweldo, pero may company B at saka C, matataas makasweldo, doon na lang kami.
How many percent chance magiging successful sa tingin mo ang People's Initiative? How do you forecast? Some percentage.
I'm sorry, I really can't.
But you have high hope.
I have high hopes that it can push through.
May deadline ba yan? May timetable sila?
I really don't know. Because I'm not really connected with the people pushing for it. But
There's a question here from editor of Manila
Aaron.
Times. May microphone ka. Please state your name again for people to. Yes, welcome. Yes.
Okay, my name is Aaron Bukida from the Manila Times. Following recommend for some time.
Alam mo, ha? Alam
Okay,
ko.
so I focus mainly on the economic aspect. Okay, that's my department. Although, yeah, I follow the political side. No? Of course, we all know many Filipinos complain about the low cost of living, low inflation, etc. Becoming OFW. So, okay. Although I don't read it, but for the benefit of Brian, can you explain to them why this will help make things better economically? So, how will this lessen OFWs and help develop the country?
great, thanks for that, Aaron. So, it's quite simple. I actually explained it earlier. Na-mention ko to kanina dun sa mahaba kong pasakali. But anyway, nakwento
Can
ko.
you summarize it?
Nakwento ko na tawag nito. Nakwento ko na kapag if we remove the anti-foreign direct investment restrictions, we send a signal to the international community, the international business community, that the Philippines is serious about wanting foreign direct investors and multinational companies, global companies, and international investors to come into the Philippines. Pag ginawa natin, pag tinanggal natin yung mga restrictions na yan, parang sinasabi natin, parang ina-announce natin sa buong mundo, we are open for business. We welcome you totally. Ganun ang nangyayari. We're welcoming you. Pag dumating yung mga foreign investors na yan, pag-create sila ng mga jobs, they will set up businesses, they will set up offices, they will set up factories. And then, doon pa lang sa paggagawa ng mga pabrika, magdadami yung mga construction projects. Doon pa lang sa pagkatapos ng construction projects, mag-hire sila ng mga empleyado. So, kung maraming mga trabaho, magle-lessen yung unemployment problems natin. Eventually, ang gusto natin mangyari is dumami ang mga trabaho such that mas maraming trabaho, mas maraming job opening kaysa sa mga manggagawa at mga taong naghahanap ng trabaho para magkaroon ng choices. Makakapagpili ang ordinaryong manggagawa na kung sinestress ako nitong kumpanya ko dun sa ikapila, mas mataas ang sweldo, mas less ang stress, lilipat ako. Ngayon, maraming tao walang choice na lumipat, titiisin na lang nila kasi kung umalis sila sa trabaho, wala silang makukuha ng trabaho. Pero kung ang daming mga job openings, ikaw, kampante ka na sa umaga, nag-resign ka, sa hapon may makahanap kang bagong trabaho kasi ang daming openings. Di ba? Yun ang nangyayari sa mga katulad ng Singapore. Mas maraming trabaho kaysa sa mga citizens nila. Yun ang gusto natin mangyari. And that will help the economy because of the law of supply and demand. When there are more jobs than job seekers, tumataas ang sweldo dahil nagkakaroon ng competition ang mga kumpanya. Ay, dito na lang kayo sa amin magtrabaho, wag doon. Mas mataas kami magpasweldo. Blah, blah, blah.
So, totoo ba, we are more communistic in our foreign policies, foreign investment policies than a supposedly communist country like Vietnam and China?
Yes, unfortunately.
Mas communistic
Mas communistic tayo. Actually, itong China and Vietnam, no?
more open to
They're more open to foreign investors. I mean, itong si Xiaoping, dating November of 1978, bumisita yan sa Singapore. Tapos, na-impress siya. Bakit ang daming mga trabaho?
Totoo ba 100% pwede mga pabrika sa China and Vietnam?
Well, to begin with, in China and in Vietnam, wala silang economic restrictions sa loob ng kanilang constitution.
Walang 60-40
Walang 60-40 sa kanilang constitution. Pwede. I mean, they also have some restrictions also. However, whatever restrictions they have, nasa legislation lang, wala sa constitution.
Hindi forever.
They can tweak it. Tayo kasi sa Pilipinas, sa kayabangan natin dati or sa siguro pagiging sobrang praning natin, linagay natin sa ating konstitusyon yung mga restrictions. Eh ngayon, hindi natin mabago. Hindi natin mabago. Ito kung ikaw ay madalas kang nagsisipilyo, di ba? Every meal, magsisipilyo ka. Saan mo ilalagay ang sipilyo? Sa loob ng, dun sa harap lang ng basin? Kung ba, nandyan lang, para ready ka, sisipilyo ka agad, sisipilyo ka. Or, ilalagay mo sa loob ng safe mo. Tapos yung safe mo, yung hindi lang sa gaganyan-ganyanin mo, meron pang mata, meron pang fingerprint, tapos meron pang 5 minutes na hintay bago sa bubukas. Yun yung punto ko.
Magandang analogy.
Kada gamit mo ng sipilyo mo, pupunta ka sa safe mo. Hindi, naka-ready dapat yan, na nandyan, pahanda kasi gagamit ka eh. Dito, ang laws natin dapat dynamic. Kapag economics, dapat dynamic. Huwag mong ilalagay sa konstitusyon. Tayo lang ang siraulong naglagay ng ganyan sa loob ng ating saligang batas. Tayo lang. Kaya pagdating sa UNCTAD rankings, tayo po ang 3rd in the world in terms of restrictiveness against foreign direct investors. In Asia, we are the worst. East Asia, we are the worst. In Southeast Asia, we are the worst. So, huwag kayong magtataka bakit ang Pilipinas napaka-dependent sa pagpapadala ng mga OFWs sa iba't ibang bansa. Tapos ang mga OFW natin, ang mga graduates, mga may maganda sanang engineer ganyan, nagiging maid, nagiging construction worker lang. Di ba? Tapos naaabuso pa. Hindi ba dapat sapat na wake up call yan yung mga pag may kabaong na dumarating dahil na abuso na di ba? That should long ago pa dapat nakita natin yan na hindi magandang situation to yung nagpapadala tayo ng mga ordinaryong Pilipino na maging OFW sa ibang bansa in huge droves when it's better to bring in investors from abroad to come to the Philippines to create jobs. Diba?
May tanong pa dito in reaction to both of you. Ano daw reaction ng speaker, sabi ng isang journalist, to the Senate manifesto abandoning the resolution of both houses, RBF 6. Paki-explain anong tanong ito, anong RBF 6, and their rejection of PI. Do you consider this a major setback for your long-time advocacy? Tanong ito by journalists watching us via Zoom.
Okay.
Paki-explain namin yung sinasabi niya RBF 6, di pala pa. Ano sabi niya?
I don't know the exact specifics, but
sabi
as
niya
long
sa Senate,
as,
ano reaction niyo to the reaction of the Senate?
so ang akin is it's not going to change anything because the people's initiative is not dependent upon the wishes and the caprices of the Senate. Kahit sabihin nilang gusto nila o hindi, people's initiative is a people's initiative. Kung gusto ng mga taong bayan, nakuha natin ang signatures, sorry na lang kayo.
So ito yung advocacy mo is not just now because there's
Kami,
so wala pa si speaker dyan, wala pa dyan.
2010 pa kami nagsusulong nito. Actually,
2010.
2010.
Wow. So you've been quoting Professor Alex Pagno pa?
Yes. Even before I started the Correct Movement, I've been reading his articles before.
Yes.
There was an article that he wrote that he was talking about the fact that Singapore and Malaysia would not have ever been able to have prime ministers like Lee Kuan Yew and Mahathir had they had the kind of system that we have.
Even Margaret Thatcher would not.
She would not win in this kind in our system kasi ang sistema natin is pasikatan. But in a parliamentary system, people like
Pagalingan.
yung mga katulad ni Mahathir and Lee Kuan Yew na sometimes abrasive, sometimes highly parang straight in your face magsalita.
Yes.
Dito sa Pilipinas hindi ba nangyari?
Dito sing and dance.
Song and dance ang natin.
So magaling si
Sir,
Professor Alex Pagno.
idol po yan.
Thank you daw. Buti ano yan? Mas matalino pa yan sa mga politiko natin. Si Professor Alex Pagno. That's why we have a bad situation. in the country today because people like him are not in the politics. Kaya baka may tanong si Professor Alex Bando, just in case. Baka may tanong na you'd like your disciple, your your follower.
Protege.
Oh, protege, your protege. May follow up siya. Sige. Pag-follow up lang. Yan din, ilan ang protege mo. Gansan lang. Gansan protege ni Professor.